Hey everybody, so this is going to be a continuation of installing the bracket to add power steering to the 65 C10. I'm going to be grinding off, as you can see, some of the paint. I have marked off what I need to grind, but I won't be shooting video from my phone anymore. I'll be using this, a Sony a6000. So I will start the swap now. Okay, now that I have that grinded off, I am going to use what is this, Lincoln Electric Welder SP135T, and I've welded before, but I've never done like welds that I need to do, like to make it professional or semi-professional at least. So I'm kind of looking at this chart, and I'm not really sure what thickness the frame is, but I believe it's gonna be one of this 14 gauge 2mm. I think so. I'm using MIG because I'm using the gas on it, so I'm using the CO2, the argon, and CO2 combined. So it's going to be one of these two. Now, I don't know which wire I'm using. I think I'm using the thicker one because I just bought it like that. That's the wire it came with. So if I'm using this and I'm welding 14 gauge, then my settings need to be D. That's going to be for the voltage, and the wire speed's gonna be 4.5. So that's what I set this to already. I went over here, and this is the voltage D, and the wire speed's around 4.5. So we'll fire this up and start welding. So I was able to put some welds in, and they seem to be pretty good. I was just gonna tack weld it in and then remove the bolts and that C-clamp you saw, and then go for it. But then I got too excited about welding, and I just went and uncontrollably I just went for it. So what I did is I put the plate on it, I put all the 4 bolts, and then I went to Advanced Auto Parts and I rented a this is a tool. It looks like a big old C-clamp, and that's what it is, but it's for putting in ball joints into the control arms. So it's not the right tool for the job, but it does work. So I put that there, this side behind the frame, and I just screwed it on to where the plate wasn't gonna come forward. I wanted it to stay as back as possible because I don't have the nuts for these bolts. So as soon as I did that, as soon as I tightened that up, I made sure that all the bolts went in and out effortlessly, and some of them did not, because this bracket was a little bit like lower or something, like some of these bolts would get stuck. So all I had to do while the C-clamp was grabbing onto this, I just whacked it with a hammer slightly up or down depending what it needed, just to make these bolts go in and out smoothly. As you can see, all of them are good. So now I'm just going to remove every bolt and finish up welding the whole plate. Alright, so I did it. I welded this plate on it. I already I used a wire brush on the grinder to clean off some of the mess that I made because I am no expert. But I gotta say I'm okay. I'm happy with the results. They're not the best, but hey, you gotta learn one day. This is probably the worst. I did not know that welding, how do you call it? Upside down. Welding upside down is harder than normally, like normal welding. So I guess I needed to learn. I needed some tips on that, but too bad. It's done. This is some of the good welds. I feel that the metal, the plate metal was welding more than the frame metal. So hopefully everything was attached. But like here, you know, you could see that I think I put the entire weld on the plate and like almost nothing on the frame, like right smack in the center. Like it was in the forums. Like I didn't need to do this. Obviously adds just a little bit more strength, but I wanted to get to know how to weld. I've never welded before. I mean, I have, but just very little. Things here and there. So I wasn't gonna let that drive me away from learning how to weld, and that shouldn't be an excuse you put on yourself too. So if you don't know how to do something, just go for it. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is fail, and if you fail, just try again. You'll know what not to do next time. So anyways, now I need a power steering gearbox and power steering pump, and I'm located here in San Antonio, so there's a place called Tailor Made Hose. They can make the hose fittings and the hose, like the high pressure hose and the low pressure side hose for the pump. So I'll be taking care of that, but now I need to focus on getting the suspension back. All I need to do is, I really want to paint the lower control arms, so I'm going to paint the control arms, and the paint should be enough to paint the rest of that plate. So that's why I wanted to get that plate in there right now. So I'll be painting that just to make it look halfway decent. I'll be painting like the spindles, the back of the spindles. Obviously not where I'm going to be putting the grease and the bearings on, so just the back sides of it. With PR15, all this with PR15. Then I need to get some of the bushing, some of the, I need the lower ball joints, and that's pretty much it. I can frickin' drive this thing again. Oh, brakes. So I want to do, also for CaptainFab sells the the brake booster adapter bracket, and I bought it. This one. So he sells this one. It bolts onto the cab, and then you can add I'm not sure what year brake booster, and then you add your own master cylinder, one or two reservoir, depending what you want to do. I want to do 2 reservoir, so that means I have to make a brake lines for the rear. This one has 1 line coming in from the reservoir, and then it splits in 2, and what that means is that it creates equal pressure for all the wheels. and because there is almost no weight in the back wheels lock up, and the front ones are barely braking. So I want to relieve that by getting a double reservoir master cylinder, put less pressure on the back, more towards the front. That way they all equally apply pressure on the brake pads. I was gonna go for disc brakes, but I might have other plans. I really want to get a Chevelle, and so what I've set on doing is get this thing ready, get it running, and then maybe I'll buy a Chevelle and put it here, because I really want to garage the Chevelle and not this. As you can tell, this is more of like a beater that I can not really care for, and the Chevelle might be a little bit nicer. So garage the Chevelle and then take this outside and either keep this one or sell it. So that's why I just want to get it back up with the original equipment as cheap as possible. That's why I'm doing all the work, and it's rewarding. Y'all should do your own work too. You know, get in there, get your hands dirty. If you don't know how to do something, I'm sure somebody has made a video about it. If not, I'd go ask the forums. But I don't think I saw anyone doing a video on how to add this plate onto the frame. So took it upon myself to do a video for somebody else's information. So there you go. I will keep you all updated on anything else that happens to the 65 C10. Well, I need a nickname for it. Maybe Chuck Norris, because it's just tough, and it's from Texas, and it doesn't break, and it's reliable, and it can do anything. So let me know if you like Chuck Norris. Laters.